Okay, so number 30 says, simplify each expression and name the resulting polynomial by its degree and number of terms. So, all we need to do on this one is combine like terms and then name it, okay? So first let's just focus on combining like terms. The highest power is 3, so let's combine 2k cubed and 4k cubed to give you 6k to the third. Mark them out so I'm done. The next highest power is the quadratic, so 2k squared and 2k squared is 4k squared. And then the last highest is negative 6k and negative 5k, so negative 11k. Well, you have to remember that as far as degree goes, if the degree is 1, then it's a linear function. Okay. If the degree is 2, it's quadratic. I spent a whole half a semester solving quadratics, so hopefully you remember that is power 2. Okay. A degree of 3 is cubic. A degree of 4 is quartic. And a degree of 5 is quintic. Anything higher is a polynomial degree 6, degree 7, such and such. Number of terms. If there's one term, then it's called a monomial. If there's 2 terms, then it's called a binomial. And if there's 3 terms, it's called a trinomial. Okay, the highest power on this is 3, so this is a cubic. And then there's 3 terms, cubic, trinomial. And there we go. On this one over here, we need to combine like terms again. Only you have to remember that this one's a little bit different because it has a minus sign in between them. You have to remember to distribute the negative. So this is actually minus p plus 5p squared, and then minus 4p to the 4th. Okay, so let's combine like terms. Negative 3p to the 4th, negative 4p to the 4th, so negative 7p to the 4th. The next power is a power of 3. I only see one of them, so I'm going to say negative 3p cubed. Okay. The next is the p squared, so I've got negative 3p squared and a positive 5, so positive 2p squared. And then lastly we've got the minus p. Okay, the highest power is 4, so this is a quartic. And how many terms? Quartic polynomial with 4 terms. That's how I write it. Okay? If it had 2 terms, I would say quartic binomial, and so on and so forth. Okay? Okay, now, these next 4 questions have to do with end behavior. You have to remember that certain functions behave certain ways as you go to the infinities. If I've got y equals x, it looks like this. Starts from negative infinity and goes to positive infinity as x approaches this way, y goes up. As x goes this way, y goes down. Okay? If you've got y equals x squared, well, on either side, as x goes to negative infinity, y goes up. As x goes to positive infinity, y goes up. So they're both positive infinity. On this one, y equals x cubed, well, it's similar to y equals x. As x goes to negative infinity, y goes to negative infinity. As x goes to positive infinity, y goes to positive infinity. So in general, odd functions, or functions with an odd degree, with a positive lead coefficient, and it's only the lead coefficient that matters because that's the highest term. That's the most important term. It's the strongest term. If you have a positive lead coefficient, then in general you start from below and you go up. Okay? You can do all sorts of things in the middle, but you start from below and go up. So that means as x goes to infinity, negative infinity, as x goes to negative infinity, y goes to negative infinity. Okay? As x goes to positive infinity, as x goes to positive infinity, y goes to positive infinity. Okay? If you have an odd function but it's a negative, well, a negative x would look like this. So it starts from above and goes down. A negative x cubed does that. Starts from above and goes down. So if you have an odd degree with a negative lead coefficient, then that means You start from above and go up, so as x goes to negative infinity, y goes to positive infinity. As x goes to positive infinity, y goes to negative infinity. So just remember, odd, opposite directions, if it's positive, you're going up, so start from down and go up. Odd but negative, that means you're going down, so you start from up and go down. Okay? So the only other option is having an even degree. Okay, well, x squared, just like we said right here, as x goes to negative infinity, y goes to positive. As x goes to positive infinity, y still goes to positive. The only other difference is if it's negative x squared, so it's got a negative lead coefficient. Then as you go to the left, you go down. As you go right, you go down. So as x goes to negative infinity, y goes to negative infinity. As x goes to positive infinity, y goes to negative infinity. They're both going down. So you really only have 4 options. If it's odd, it's either going up or it's going down. Well, I should say that. If you're even, then you go up, up, or you go down, down, if you have a negative coefficient. Okay? So, looking at this problem right here. This is a even function because the highest power is a 2, and it's a positive lead coefficient. Okay, if it's a positive even goes up, up, or down, down, and since it's positive, it's got to go up, up, which means as x goes to negative, y goes to positive. As x goes to positive, y still goes to positive. As x goes to negative infinity, y goes to positive infinity. As x goes to positive infinity, y goes to positive infinity. Okay? This one is a negative odd. Okay? Well, odds go in opposite, and if it's negative, then in general it goes down. From left to right, it goes down. So that means to me, as x goes to negative, y goes to positive, so we start from above, and as x goes to positive, we go down below. Okay? So as x goes to negative, y goes to positive. As x goes to positive, y goes to negative. Okay? This is a negative even. Well, a negative even. Evens go in the same direction, but if it's negative, then they both go down. So, no matter which way you're going on y, on x, y is going down. Okay? This, you almost think is a negative even, but if you look for the highest power, it's actually that one, which makes this the lead coefficient, which is positive. So we're talking about a positive odd. So in general, we do this. As x goes to negative infinity, y goes to, so as x goes to negative, y goes to negative. As x goes to positive, y goes to positive. Okay. So I actually added 2 more problems because I wanted you to make sure that you could do these in case they showed up, and by case I mean because they will. So the first one was, using the given roots, determine the remaining zeros and write the function in factor form. Okay. So, I'm trying to get it where I can see it on my computer too. 1 minute. That's okay. Give me a second to finish recording this video. No. Okay, so if I've got the function 2x to the 4th plus 3x cubed plus 6x squared plus 12x minus 8, and I'm telling you that there are 2 roots, negative 2 and 1/2, and I want you to find the remaining roots and write the function in factor form. And here's what you got to do. First, you got to synthetically divide out the roots you have. So negative 2, 2, 3, 6, 12, negative 8. And down I got 2, negative 2, oh, negative 4, sorry. Negative 1, positive 2, 8, negative 16, negative 4, positive 8, and 0. Okay, so that worked, and then now I'm going to do negative or positive 1/2. Bring down the 2, what's 1/2 of 2? 1, 0, so that's 0, 8, 1/2 of 8 is 4, so 0. Okay, well, so what I'm left with is, so far my factor form is going to be this. I've got x plus 2, because of that right there, x minus 1/2, or 2x minus 1. And then I need to find this. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it as 2x squared plus 8. I started with a quartic, I divided out 2, so I'm left with 2x squared plus 8 equals 0. So I need to solve that so I can write my final two factors. And my final factor is 2. Okay, so let's solve. 2x squared equals a negative 8. Divide by 2, and then take the square root. Okay, so that means my final answer is going to be x plus 2 times 2x minus 1 times x plus 2i times x minus 2i, and that is my function in factor form. Okay, so one more. If you start with f of x equals x cubed plus 3x squared plus x plus 203, and the root I give you is negative 7. Then you have to synthetically divide it out. 1, 3, 1, 203. Okay. Bring down the 1, multiply negative 7, negative 4, 28, 29. 7 times 29, 63, 14, so 200. And it's a negative 7 to a negative 203, so 0. Okay. So far I have f of x equals x plus 7, and then x squared minus 4x plus 29. But I need to factor this so I can find the solutions and then rewrite it, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is write it as this, and then I'm going to solve either using the quadratic formula or completing the square. I'll do that. So, completing the square says subtract the 29 over, and then divide this by 2. So x minus 2 quantity squared. If this is a 2, then this has to be a positive 4, so you square this, and whatever that squared is, you add it to both sides. This is a negative 25. So I take the square root, plus or minus the square root of negative 25 is 5i, and then I add 2. So yeah. So then I'm going to write my factors as x plus 7, and then x minus 2 plus 5i, and x minus 2 minus 5i. Whatever this is, just make x minus the i. So since this is a negative 7, I said x plus 7. If this had been a negative 2, I would put x plus 2. And so that is my function in fully factored form. Okay, there you go.